Good morning, I'm Glenn.
Good morning, I'm Lorraine.
And welcome
to Inspiring Business.
This morning we have Jeff from Resi Inspect. Good morning, Jeff.
Good morning.
Jeff, how long have you been a building consultant?
Well, I've been a building consultant for the last 20 years. However, I've been in the building industry now for 40 years this year.
Fantastic.
I started out as an apprentice, did my 4 years as apprenticeship, and then after that I did what they call a building foreman clerk of works, which was actually 3 nights a week for 3 years to obtain my builder's license. So in 1985 I got my builder's license, and a few years after that I hung up my shingle and started my own business.
Mm-hmm.
What made you actually do that? I mean, instead of staying employed with somebody, what made you actually go out and do it for yourself?
Well, initially it was my employer was winding down, so
Right.
I decided to wind up, and after spending 3 nights a week for 3 years to obtain a qualification to get a license, it was just, I thought, time to go out on my own. And I saw what everyone else was doing, and I felt that my work was as good, if not better, than what was being produced out there. So going to another employer just really didn't make sense to me.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And I wanted, people talk about that freedom you get when you're self-employed. I wanted to, I guess, row my own boat and do my own thing rather than being shackled under an employer and having to follow their instruction.
Sure.
Mm-hmm. And have you had any highs and lows over the time?
Yes, plenty of highs and plenty of lows. I suppose lately there's been a really good high from a client. I did a report for the National Civil and Administrative Tribunal, which is the Office of Fair Trading when people have issues with builders or consumers have issues with products and things like that. And my client had a bathroom that was being renovated, and they weren't happy with the workmanship, and they weren't very sure whether the workmanship was actually up to standard or whether it was just their opinion that it wasn't correct. So they asked me to do an inspection, and I came around and inspected the property and found that it didn't meet certain standards and codes. So therefore their initial thoughts were that it wasn't correct, and that was underpinned by non-compliance with standards and codes, and I put a report together for them for the National Civil and Administrative Tribunal, and just last week they went to the tribunal and they got a favourable outcome, which I was very pleased about, and received some feedback from them saying how pleased they were with my report, how much weight it carried with the tribunal. So they were really pleased, and in turn that makes me really pleased, because what I do, giving people that information, that power to make decisions is one of the things that I really enjoy about my job. I like to, I guess, help people in a nutshell.
Yeah.
But that was a really positive outcome for them, and a really positive feedback for myself.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Do you have any tips or any advice for people that are new to business or are thinking of taking that giant step into the abyss?
Well, I always say just go for it. I think it's your mind that holds you back from a lot of things. Will this happen? Will that happen? But I suppose the one thing you need to do is understand your market, your product, your clients, that sort of thing, and be aware that most people who are starting a business are either stepping out of a paid position and taking on a franchise, or turning a hobby into into a business, and going from that paid position to working for yourself can be very challenging. There's an old saying one of my old bosses gave me, it's either a feast or a famine.
Yeah.
And riding those highs and lows of those times, even the highs can be very stressful when you've got a lot of work on and you're trying to please multiple clients and still retain that high level of customer service and the product you're delivering. So I think knowing your product, knowing your client, having some good advice, some good people around you might be a good step as well. People talk about networking and having mentors. I think those are really positive things to have, especially if you work by yourself, because you're this autonomous being. You're sometimes in the office by yourself or out on jobs by yourself, and you get to second guessing what you're doing and where you're coming from and decisions you're making. So even bouncing those off your partner or your wife or someone like that can be really positive.
Exactly.
Fantastic.
Thanks for coming in today, Jeff.
Yeah, thank you.
And thanks for watching
Inspiring business.